Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. I know I'm starting off a little late today, but we are talking about episode 5, season 4 of Barry. I would say that this has definitely been the most obscure episode so far, maybe the most different. And not just of this season, but I think out of the entire series, I feel like this is the one that you're gonna go, that was really weird. And not in a bad way, but what's funny is I've noticed with this episode is that um, I think there was more. I was seeing more, maybe like a little bit more criticism than usual, or kind of like mixed reviews. Where I think um, before it was kind of like after every episode, everybody was like, "Oh, I love it! Like so good, so perfect. I love the way." I love where the show was going. I love everything about it. I love all the characters, the storylines, the plots, and everything. And then for this episode in particular, I noticed because usually when I watch a new episode, like I'll go on Twitter either like right after or like the next morning to see like what people said on my timeline. And I was definitely seeing some people that were going like, "Yeah, not my favorite episode," or um, this episode was just really slow and compared to everything else that's been going on, which is not that's not a lie. It is true that it was definitely a slower, everything just completely slowed down this episode. And I guess for some people that really threw them off. And then I just think the fact that this episode, it was so different because it was set in the future. And I don't think we've never gotten like a full episode like that. Like we've always had Barry having visions or dreams, whatever you want to call it, since the beginning. Like way back in season 1, he was kind of doing that, but it's just like moments. This whole episode was kind of that, but it was real. And now there are theories though kind of going around that this could possibly be all a dream, that this is all just in Barry's head, and that this is what he's always wanted, and so he's just kind of like fantasizing about it. But I feel like, well, one, Bill Hader did go on record saying that this, he confirmed that it is 8 years into the future. And then on top of that, I feel like it's not a dream because they did show Kusino like at the end, and I feel like them going back to LA and showing kind of like a little bit of what's been going on the past like 8 years and stuff. I felt like that kind of confirmed it, that like, oh, this isn't a dream, like this is real. So it's crazy, but I think it's real, y'all. I don't think it's fake. I would be really surprised if like this was all a trick and he's like, actually it was all a dream. Like I'd be like, bro, are you serious? Like put us through this whole episode just for it to not be fake, like, or just for it to be fake. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he would do that, but never know. So I'm just gonna talk as if this is real because this is the way they're presenting it. This is the way the show is going, I guess. And I gotta say, I'm not gonna say that I disliked the episode because I don't think there's really been any episode that I didn't like. But I will say that after watching this episode, I just felt really bummed and kind of like depressed. And usually, like, in most of the episodes, there's always something really intense going on, or um, something horrible that happens, or something that's, there's some doom coming, the way they set it up, that's going to happen in the next episode. And so I'm kind of used to that feeling, but this was just like, man, I just feel really bummed. And one of the reasons was because I just feel really bad for their kid. I think his name is John or Jonathan. He has horrible parents and he has no idea. Like, or actually, I shouldn't say he has no idea because I think he's smart enough to know that something is not right with him. But he doesn't even know the depth, like how deep, just how bad it goes for Sally and Barry, especially Barry. So I feel bad for the kid because he was born into this, and now he's gonna get, once things start picking back up again, he's gonna be all wrapped into it, and it's like he didn't ask for this. He's just a kid. So that made me feel bummed. But the other thing that was just like really weighing heavy on me, and I didn't think I would feel so bad about it, but I do, is Sally. It's just seeing where her character has ended up after everything that she's been through and after everything that's happened. And the fact that she not only ended up with Barry, she's married to him. Now they have a kid. So now they're like connected forever. Um, that, man, I'm just so like sad for her, you know. I wanted better for her, and she's never, and I've said this before, she's never been my favorite character. um but I don't know, I just feel really strongly about this, where I'm like, I really wanted better for her. I don't know why I had hoped that like things were gonna get good, get kind of, you know, I mean, I didn't think she was gonna have some like super happy ending, because that's pretty unrealistic for this type of show. But I don't know, like, it seems like season 3 that she was kind of going in a better direction. And even once the show was canceled, it didn't, to me, it didn't feel like, oh, this is it for her, like everything's over. Like, I felt like, you know, she still has talent, and she still had her agent. And it, you know, even with the video with Natalie, like, even that, it didn't feel like, oh yeah, she's done for. It just like, it just felt like a it just felt like another roadblock, but it didn't feel like the end all be all. And now it just kind of feels like that, like this is where her life is at. And I don't think, if anything, it's probably just going to get worse. And that makes me really depressed and really sad for her. And part of me is kind of upset with her too, because I'm just like, why did you accept this life? Why did you choose this? Why did you choose Barry? And I, you know, we can get into all the like psychological, like, you know, the trauma and everything that comes with what she's been through, and being with Barry and everything, and why, you know, you can even go into like real life, you know, like when people are in abusive relationships, and we go, why are you still with them, or why are you putting up with it, you know. And there's, it's all kind of really sad reasons. So it's like, I understand, but I just still feel kind of upset with her that like she chose this. But at the same time, I think it's more like just sympathy than anything. Because again, I don't think that her messing up, like her blowing up on Natalie, and that video coming out of her losing her show, like, I just think those were like setbacks. I still think that she could have had success. Maybe not in the way that she envisioned, or the way that she had initially wanted, but I still think things could have been good for her. And it's like she just abandoned all of that just to go off and be with Barry. And it just, God, that sucks, you guys. You let me know how you feel about it. Yeah, those were the two words I could just describe how I felt after watching this episode. Just bummed, and just like really depressed and sad for her. And she's clearly unhappy, and it's crazy because like the contrast between like the way Sally is every day. Like, it kind of, you know, the episode kind of takes you through their like everyday mundane life. Like, it's really like the same thing over and over again. And I think that happens with like a lot of people, where you kind of get stuck in this routine, and it just feels like life is just passing you by, and you know, you're just bored, and it's just like, really, like, this is all life is about. Like, I'm just working, and I'm coming home, and I'm fixing dinner, and then it's time for bed again. You're kind of just doing the whole thing over again. And I think that's really relatable for a lot of people. But obviously in her case it's much more extreme, because they're fugitives, and and they like live out in the middle of nowhere, and it's not like they could really, you know, they can't really get too close to anybody. Like, she talks to her coworkers, obviously, and it seems like there's a kid that their son likes playing with, but for the most part, they can't, you know, they can't risk getting too close, because if somebody finds out who they are, then, you know, they're really done for. So it's like, it's lonely, I'm sure, and it's just like, man, like, that's horrible. I did not want that for her. So for Barry, I'm like, you know what, whatever, because I don't feel bad for you, because again, you chose this, you made all of this, like, it's all Barry's fault in the end. Like, he just ruined everything, honestly. And the other thing too, I didn't really like care for with this episode, was that they didn't show Hank. They didn't show my baby Hank, which, I mean, I guess I kind of get it, because it wasn't really about what was going on in LA. The focus was really on like Barry having a family with Sally and having a kid with her, and that was like what he always wanted. And it's kind of just showing you like, this is what you get. Like, this is what you've always wanted, here you go. And it's not some perfect thing. Like, I guess like he always envisioned. I mean, even though he seems maybe a little content with it, I guess. I don't know if he's like what you call truly happy. It still kind of feels like they're both just playing a role, is what it feels like. It feels like acting, especially from Sally. You know, she gets up every day, she puts on that like brunette wig and her little waitress outfit, and she has this like, you know, weird country accent that she puts on, and it all just feels like everybody's just acting, everybody's just putting on a role, except for the kid, of course. But it's just really depressing. I don't I don't know how else to how else to describe it. Um, but yeah, I don't know, like with Barry, I mean, obviously, like, he likes that life better than she does, but I don't even know if he's, like, truly happy. It still feels kind of, like, fake to me, especially, like, the whole, like, I found God thing, and now he's supposedly religious, but yet in the end of the episode, he's like, oh, yeah, we gotta kill Kusano. Like, you're supposed to be a man of God, Barry, and you're talking about killing Kusano again? You're in the same place. Nothing has changed. Like, it's like they're making it seem like everything has gotten better, and Barry's a changed man, and he doesn't get angry anymore, and all he cares about is his son and Sally. And it's like, dude, like, you are the same person. You have not changed. And that's it's funny, but it's also like, that's really just like, it's just horrible. But I'm really interested to see where they're gonna go with this. Like, I want to know if they're going to show like some of the stuff that happened in between that led to them getting to this point. I mean, there's only 3 episodes left, so I don't know how much they can really fit into 3 episodes, and each episode is only like 30 minutes. So they might just be more focused on the future, I guess, with the last few episodes of the series. But I'm so curious to know like what happened after Barry escaped prison, just kind of like to a rundown of what happened if you guys kind of forgot. So Barry escaped prison after those guys were trying, those podcast guys were trying to kill him. And he, of course, ended up at Sally's place, and Sally was just like, let's go. Like, and basically just saying, like, let's get out of here. Let's get far away from LA. Let's just go off and be together. And they were, they were on the run. They were gone. And clearly they had never been found. And so they got married, had a kid and everything. And it's just like, I'm just really curious to see what happened. Like, maybe not every single detail, but just kind of like, even like moments of when they were on the run and stuff, like what that was like for Sally. And at what point did they decide to get married? At what point did she get pregnant? I don't know, I'm just curious about all these things, like what her pregnancy was like, because Sally to me has never really seemed like the type of person that wanted kids. I mean, I guess if she found the right guy it was possible, but she has always been so, like, from the very beginning, she has always been so focused on her career and making it and being a successful actress, and like her wanting to be the center of attention. And it's like, when you're like that, how can you um like, when you have a kid, like, your kid is the center of attention, like that's, you're gonna be your whole world. So it's just like, I didn't really see that for her. Like, I know Barry obviously wanted that, but I can't remember like an episode or a moment where she said like, yeah, I want to have kids, or I really want to have a family. Like, I don't know, maybe she did, I don't, you guys can let me know, but I just didn't ever see that for her. So I'm really curious to see like what that was like for her. Like, was she happy when she found out she was pregnant? Like, was her pregnancy smooth? Was it awful and hard? Like, I don't know. I mean, again, they're probably not going to show all that because they don't have time, but those like fill in the blank moments are gonna be, that would be really good for like people to write fan fiction about, like to show what happened in between. I would like to read some stuff like that, if people are gonna be like writing fan fictions for the fandom. Maybe I can even do it, I don't know, but I'd have to come up with like something. But there's an idea for you guys, for anybody that watches this or comes across this, that is a fan of the show but also is a writer as well. Like, there's definitely some material for you to write there, or for somebody to kind of like fill in the blanks, because I'm just like, man, like, what happened during those 8 years? But yeah, like I said, this episode was very, very interesting, and it was very quiet too. Like, it was super quiet. And I think the show is kind of, especially this season, I think that it's kind of had that feel to it, where they're even like the intro, like they're not even playing the song anymore when it shows the title, the way they used to. So that kind of tells you that this is a completely different like mood and tone for this season. But this episode in particular felt really quiet, and I think it was kind of, the way I interpret it was like, it was just showing like how quiet their life is now. But it's almost like too quiet. It's quiet to the point where it can be kind of like unsettling. and lonely. And like I said, I'm pretty sure like Sally is, even though she has Barry, it's just like they don't look happy together, you know? She doesn't even really look that happy to be around her son, to be honest. Um, and I think that part too, because like I said, I don't know if she ever even really wanted kids. Like, I wonder if the pregnancy was like an accident or if she just got pregnant because that's what Barry wanted. Like, I have no idea. Um, I don't even know if she wanted her kid, which sounds really messed up, but I'm serious. Like, the way she interacted with him was just very detached. And you know, maybe that doesn't really necessarily have anything to do with her son in particular. Like, it's probably just her because she's just so like, you know, out of it. And it showed her like drinking a lot, and you know, clearly she's just trying to like cope and get through each day. And it's just really sad. Like, I wanted so much better for her. Um, and I think back to that moment in season 3 when she broke up with Barry, like how happy I was that she did that. That was such a like an iconic moment because I didn't think that she was gonna actually do it, and she did. And it was just so smooth. It wasn't even like a big like fight or her yelling. It was just a very like cool, calm, collected. Like, yeah, we're done. This was the best night of my life, and you were not even here for me. So like, I don't need you. You know, like what kind of boyfriend is that? And she just walked away, and I love that for her. And I want her to go back to that. Like, that Sally was like, yes, I was 100% rooting for her, clapping for her when she did that. And that's why I said sad to think about that moment and to think and to see like where she's at now. And it's just like, girl, come on now. Um, and to me, I think that, you know, I mean, I guess you could blame it on the fact that Barry came into her life, or even go all the way back to like her childhood, because we saw the way her parents treated her and how they're kind of like emotionally detached. You could blame it all on that, or even like her marriage to Sam and everything. But I honestly feel like the nail in the coffin for her, or what really like led her to this life, was her killing that guy. And just everything that came with that. You know, like, you kill somebody, you can't, that's like crossing a line that you can't come back from. And meaning, like, that's not to say that you can't like go on to you know, I guess, to change. But I think once you do that, like, that stays with you, you know. That's something that will always be attached to you, unfortunately. And even though she killed him in self-defense, it's still traumatizing, and it's still something that she has to live with for the rest of her life. And I think after that, I felt like that's when like that trauma bond between her and Barry formed, and maybe why she couldn't fully let him go, I don't know. But um I think maybe if that hadn't have happened, that maybe she could have went a different direction, because I felt like she had something there with being an acting coach. Now, she fumbled the bag when she yelled at Kristen, and the whole class didn't like that and everything, but she had, you know, she had that one student, and she was willing to be like, hey, you know, I need your help. I don't really know what I'm doing. Can you teach me? And she was even like on the movie set with her and everything. And like, I think that could have been something for her. Now, I know she wants to be the star, she wants to be the one on stage, but it's like maybe that could have led her to that. I don't know. I just wish she kind of would have stuck with that, or done something, like even stayed being a writer. Like, I know after her show got canceled, I think I thought they had offered her a job to be a writer, or maybe her agent was saying something about like her doing that. I don't know. Even though, again, that's not really what she wants to do, but like, to stay in that circle, I think it could have led her to her being an actress and stuff. And then what's really messed up too is like Natalie has that show, and she's popular now, and like pretty much has everything that Sally always wanted. Um and they even showed like the little, like the scene at the end, they showed like the big movie posters or the big movie billboards, and like the girl Kristen, the girl that she was training, she became like a big star. She's done like all these superhero movies, and it's like, girl, that could have been your student. You would have been in the spotlight. Like, if she stayed her acting coach, she would have gotten, like, I'm pretty sure she would have gotten recognition for that, for her being the acting coach, and probably like working closely with her and all that. Like, she would have still been in that world. She still would have been a part of Hollywood. So it's just like, it's just really frustrating, you know. Clearly, can you tell I'm just like, oh, it's like exasperating, because I'm like, girl, you could have done so much better for yourself. Like, Barry, you went off with Barry instead. Like, really? My goodness, I just cannot with this show. But anyway, we got like I said, we got 3 episodes left. I don't know how they're gonna wrap all this up, but after this, there will literally be no more Barry. Like I can't say, oh, we'll find out next season or we'll see what happens. Like that's gonna be it. There's gonna be no more, and it's really sad for me. Um, but of course, like even once the show ends, I want to have like a full discussion about season 4 and just maybe the show as a whole and like how things changed from season 1 to season 4 and how like we as an audience viewed Barry in the beginning and then now how much that changed because I think that was a big like topic of discourse, like how a lot of people were kind of like rooting for him in the beginning, and then it got to the point where it was like, no, this man is crazy. We're not rooting for you anymore. Like at this point, you're just too far gone. You're lost in the sauce, is what it was. So all that stuff is just, this whole like series has just been such a roller coaster, and I'm glad I've been able to kind of like document talking about it and like how I felt in the moment, and maybe even look back on it and be like, well, my feelings changed about that, but um and then hopefully, like having these episodes out for you guys, like anybody that discovers the show later on, because I know there's people that are gonna probably get into show once the series is actually over. Like hopefully you guys will, come back to my videos and kind of, I guess watch it for the first time, but like watch it with me. I'm kind of hoping that people can come to my videos and be like, oh my goodness, like I felt the same way she felt and everything. Um, but yeah, like I said, this is just like so not what I wanted for Sally. Barry, I don't care at this point. Like he should just die. I feel like, um, either that or go back to prison. But like I don't even trust that because it's like he could still. I mean, he's older now, but it's like he could still break out, or there's gonna be like somebody that's gonna try to help him, or I don't even know what happened to Fuchs. Like all these questions, I don't know. But yeah, at this point, I just want Barry to die. I'm sorry. He's just done too much damage, and I don't like. It's like at this point, prison isn't even enough of a punishment. Is that really mean to say? Well, good, because I want to be mean to him. He deserves it for ruining Sally's life, for ruining, for ruining everybody's life. Everybody that he like came in contact with just is like no. It's like no good for them anymore because of him. So I'm over it. Barry should die. That's what I'm gonna say. I don't care if it sounds harsh, but we'll see. I don't know. As long as he does not end up with a happy ending, I think I'll be okay. But but yeah, I've been kind of seeing not really like spoilers, but I've definitely seen people, or I think it's like critics, people who have already seen like the last episode, and they're just like, oh, you guys are not like you guys aren't ready for what's gonna happen. And I'm just like, dude, like I'm ready. I just want to see what happens. Like I want to know what happens with all these characters. I want to know like what's going to happen with Hank, like if he's going to turn into this like big crime lord now that he kind of went in this really dark direction and Cristobal's not around to really like keep him grounded anymore. Like I don't know. I don't know. It's crazy, but let me know what you guys think about this episode in the comments. Let me know your theories on what you think will happen in the next 3 episodes, or maybe like how you want the show to end. Um, like, my goodness, like I'm definitely open for discussion. I want to know your guys's opinions and your perspective and everything, and specifically how you thought about this episode. Like, do you think that it just fell off? Do you think it threw you off because everything really slowed down this episode? But I think it kind of made sense so too, because it's like right dead in the middle of the season. The way it was just like super, building up, the first 4 episodes, and then 5 was kind of like a pause, and then I think 6, 7, and 8 will be like, we're just gonna keep ascending. I think at this point, so it kind of made sense to do it that way, because I think if you had started off the series kind of slow, people would have been like, like what, kind of like what, like why is it, and then you definitely don't want to. I don't think he would want to end the series that way, like end it really slow. But what do I know? I don't know. I think it kind of made sense to put it in the middle of the season. So, you know, I think I think it's all just to move the story forward. It was more of a character study. It was definitely the focus was really on the characters this episode more than trying to put together some cool action scene. I don't think every episode needs to be that for it to be good, you know. But of course, everybody's entitled to their opinion. So again, I want to know like what you guys think. Um, and yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? I could go and I guess look up and show you guys maybe a clip or something, but like I feel like this is one of those episodes where you're just gonna have to watch it yourself. Like me just trying to show a clip is not even gonna do it justice. But I will say honorable mention before I go. There is a scene. Actually, Bill has done this multiple times throughout the season, but there's a scene in this episode, right, that really creeped me out. You guys might already know what I'm going to say if you've seen the episode already. Okay, so there's a knock at the door, right? They're at home, and again, they live in the middle of nowhere. Like, obviously, there are other people around, but it's not like they have, like, direct neighbors, you know? Um, they get a knock on the door, and it's, like, late at night, and, you know, Barry and Sally immediately go into, like, almost like lockdown mode. Let's get prepared in case there's somebody coming after us. And Sally goes to hide like with her son in the tub, and Barry gets his gun out, and he opens up the door, and it's just like pitch black, and it's like nobody there, and I'm like, bro, this is scary. I was really like you should have saw me when I was watching it. I was like, like trying to, you know, like when you watch a scary movie, you try to like talk or distract yourself because you feel like there's a jump scare coming, or you're like trying to prepare for it. That's what it felt like for me. I was just like, dude, if something pops out or somebody like, I was like, no, do not do this to me. But of course, it was nothing. But it was just like, bro, the way that was shot, that tells me right there that when Bill does a horror movie, it's gonna be good. That's good. Listen, when he comes out with a horror movie, that's gonna be a day one in the theater. Like I'm going, okay. I'm still like trying to get the hang of like watching scary movies because I'm a scaredy cat. There's certain movies where I'm like, no, I just do not want to see that. But there's other ones where I'm like, okay, I actually want to go and see this, you know? So I feel like whenever he directs a horror movie, it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be something like, I don't want to compare it to like Jordan Peele because I feel like Jordan Peele is like in his own lane, but I feel like it's going to be something different, like the way that we talk about Jordan Peele and the way he's been able to kind of like put these, you know, like strange sci-fi horror films together. But it's so different. Like it's not anything that we've really seen like in the past decade. I feel like when Bill does a movie, it's gonna be like that, where it's gonna be like, whoa, like we haven't seen a movie like this, you know. But still maybe infusing some type of like classic horror movie tropes, you know. But I don't know. Anyway, that scene just made me think like, dude, like when he directs a horror movie, it's gonna be good. I just know it is. I'm betting money on it. But yeah, that scene had me on the edge of my seat because I was like, man, like what the heck is going on? And I know there was some people talking about that as well. They're like, well, who was that at the door? Was that just like kids playing, like a whole ding dong ditch thing? Or was that all in Barry's head? Or I don't know. Like, honestly, I feel like it could have been somebody just playing around. Like, but I don't know. It also does kind of seem like it was just something like psychological. But then I was kind of questioning that because I'm like, well, Sally heard it too. So does that mean that they're both off their rockers, I guess? I don't know. It could be something psychological. That's what I'm maybe thinking. But either way, that was scary. But very good, like, intense, suspenseful moment. And he's done that quite a bit, I think, with this. I would say maybe, like, with this season, maybe even with last, if I remember correctly. But especially even, like, when he showed up at Sally's house after he broke out of prison, and it was at darkness, and he just emerges from the dark. That was scary. Like, I think the scene in this episode was a little bit more scary because the other one you kind of knew it was gonna be Barry, but this one it was like I don't know who that is or what that is. You know, it almost felt like it could be something like supernatural or paranormal. I know this isn't that type of show, but it kind of made me think like, what if that was like not a person? I don't know. It just creeped me out. I don't know. But again, I think it could have just been something that was more so like in Barry's head. I don't know. But again, you guys let me know what you think. Always love to hear your guys' opinions and And, as usual, thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys are enjoying my discussions about season 4 of Barry. I'm going to continue this next weekend, of course, all the way up until the very last episode. And then, like I said, we'll have a whole big discussion about the series and just saying goodbye to it and everything. Like, I honestly want to write like a blog post or like an article dedicated to this series because it's just been such a good show. Like, I just feel like I need to do something to like honor it. Like, obviously with the podcast, I feel like I'm doing that as well, but I would love to like write something about that. If you guys would like to see that, let me know. If I do write anything, I'll most likely put it on medium.com. I think that's the website. I have like an account on there. You could go, if you've never heard of it, it's like a place where you could really just like publish your own articles. And I've written stuff on there before, so I would love to do like a review or like a just like a whole recap of like the series and just kind of like a final goodbye to it and everything. So I think I might do that. I don't know. If I don't, you guys can call me out and just be like, Tiffany, I thought you said you were gonna write something about Barry. Just let me know and I'll do it. Or I could write something for like Tumblr or something, but I don't know. I feel like I want it to be a little bit more. I want it to look a little bit more formal, so I think I would write it on Medium or or if there's another platform that you think would be good for like articles and blog posts, let me know. I'll look into it, but yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap up this episode. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow my Facebook page. It's all the same name, Tiffany's TVscape. You can also follow my Spotify page as well if you're more of an audio listener. And then, of course, like my other socials like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok even. I try to post clips and, things like that from my podcast. But if you want to get full episodes, you're going to have to follow me on my Facebook or YouTube or Spotify. Those will kind of be the three main places you'll be able to hear like full episodes. But yeah, we're gonna keep this ball rolling, and I will see you guys next weekend, same time. We're gonna be talking about episode 6, which is coming out tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good week, and I will see you then. Bye bye.